Okay, I think we're ready to get started. I got that all set up. So my name again is Patrick Colletto. I'm a senior account executive with Sony PlayStation. Just jumping right into it. Before getting into really the details about PlayStation, we wanted to take a quick look from a macro perspective, really an overview of the video game industry as a whole from a 30,000 foot view. So what's interesting about gaming at one time was actually perceived as sort of a passing fad back in the 80s. Obviously, has grown significantly over the years. So much to the fact that last year did over $15 billion in gaming software sales alone. Just looking at some of the top line stats, over 50% of U.S. households own a dedicated games console. Over half the population plays video games, and of those, 42% of Americans play video games over 3 hours per week. In terms of looking at kind of the next generation breakdown, PlayStation leads the way with 42% penetration in the marketplace over Xbox and Wii. But one thing we'll talk about later in the presentation is kind of how these consoles have evolved from kind of a capability technology standpoint, allowing users to utilize them more than for just gaming alone. And you see that bear out here in some of the stats. 54% of users are using it to watch movies, 33% watching television, listening to music, and watching other live and on-demand content. So we'll get into that a little later in the presentation. So before getting into it, I want to show you a quick video. Really talks about just PlayStation, the PlayStation brand, and kind of its evolution from the first PlayStation in 1994. I think there are some consistent themes that have been a part of the PlayStation success story from the very beginning. I think one, we've always been a leader in innovation. Two, we've always produced the most high-quality, compelling games in the marketplace. And then three, there's always been a huge passion for the PlayStation brand. All of these things combined have really made PlayStation one of the leading entertainment brands in the world. So we'll take a look at the video. Video plays. So as I talked about, kind of a quick timeline of from the first PlayStation to where we are today with PlayStation 4. So the first PlayStation launched in 1995. I'm happy to say I had the first PlayStation console. I do remember putting in the CD into the device. But again, it was the first one where, at the time, Nintendo, Sega Genesis, you were using cartridges to plug into the system, upgraded to CD, allowed for better quality graphics and audio. Sold over 100 million units to date. So again, it was a huge game changer from a gaming perspective. PlayStation 2 launched in 2000. Similar in terms of kind of the experience. The only difference is it was the first console to play movies and DVDs. It was the best-selling console to date, sold over 150 million units. And again, though, these were still similar in terms of that experience of you're buying a physical game and actually playing it in the console, and that was essentially the one-on-one experience that you had. PlayStation 3, this is where you start to see the next generation consoles and where it starts to evolve. It started in 2006, launched in 2006. Really where the change, other than being able to play Blu-rays for games and HD movies, in 2012, this was the first time you could actually buy games digitally. So the day it went on sale in brick and mortar retail, you could actually buy it digitally on the platform, download it, and play the same day it was released. So this is where we start to see in terms of the capabilities of the console and the exchange from a commerce standpoint start to change dramatically. And we've seen a huge impact from this point on. That leads us to today, PlayStation 4. It's the fastest selling console in U.S. history. 1 million units moved in the first 48 hours. It was sold 22 million consoles worldwide. We're outselling Xbox 2-1 domestically, 3-1 globally. What's interesting here is you see 31% of console sales were actually to owners of Wii and Xbox 360. So people already had one of the competitive gaming consoles, but I think the differentiation of PlayStation, the passion that people have for the brand and the platform speaks here is that they're willing to go out and buy another device. We talked about how the console and kind of the ecosystem has evolved. One, because of connectivity, right? The stronger Wi-Fi signals that we have now. And then also in terms of the hardware and the memory that exists on the consoles allows for all of these different things to happen. And now we're starting to see that from a consumption standpoint start to shift. So Some of the new features would include media sharing, the ability to share sort of your experiences on the platform with your friends via Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Being able to broadcast a live gaming experience, so your own gaming, or be able to watch other people game via Twitch and Ustream. Spotify, we have a new partnership with Spotify. We're able to stream your own music, so very similar to the Spotify experience on desktop or on your mobile phone. Being able to stream it or stream it in the background while you're playing games. And then the proliferation of apps, right, over-the-top apps. So we're talking utilizing these for on-demand or also live content via Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, and Crackle, just to name a few. So kind of in summary, when you're looking at sort of the PlayStation platform, these are the biggest areas and features within the ecosystem. You have the PlayStation Store, that's where a majority of the time is spent, where users can come in and purchase video games, movies, TV shows. PlayStation Plus is a subscription-based service, just allows for additional features that are unique to those subscribers. PlayStation Music we touched upon in terms of the partnership and relationship with Spotify. And then PlayStation Vue, this is our new cloud-based live TV service. Just launched this year. It's in beta. We're rolling it out across the country. Again, it's the ability where we're essentially allowing folks who have a PlayStation console, we're becoming the MSO, right? We're allowing users to cut the cord with their cable service and utilize their gaming console as an entertainment hub, and to be able to watch live TV via subscription service via Vue. So we talked about the shift in kind of the platform. So there's some great Nielsen data that I can send as follow-up that talks about the shift in user behavior from 2010 to 2014, not only across PlayStation but across Xbox and Wii. But what we're seeing is, one, from an audience profile, we represent over 68 million users in terms of active accounts in the last 12 months. We're predominantly male, as you can see, 84%, and we're young. So our sweet spot is definitely male, 18 to 34. But when you're talking about shifts in consumptions and how they're utilizing the console, it's evident here, right? So, one, they're hardcore. They spend over 18 hours per week on console. This is the average per user. Now, a majority of that time is actually spent playing games, roughly around 12 hours per week. But they're also utilizing it to watch DVDs and Blu-ray. They're streaming movies and TV shows, as you can see here, almost 4 hours per week. And then listening to music as a new feature as part of the platform. Additionally, you'll see these stats below that talk about money spent on the console. So I mentioned that was one of the big changes from a digital perspective, is that we shifted from this physical, I'm going to put this into my console and I play a game and that's basically it. Then you're talking about not only being able to use this for other sort of entertainment consumption, but also the ability to purchase on the platform. So we've turned into a huge retail business, an e-commerce business. Now you can see they're not only obviously spending money on games, 37% here, but they're also spending it on TV shows, 17%, movies, 16%, music, sports, and other content. So I talked about, from a commerce perspective, what's a crazy stat. One, PlayStation did over $2 billion in sales last year from a commerce standpoint. Two, we're the number 2 retailer for PlayStation games, just behind GameStop, but ahead of behemoths like Walmart, Best Buy, and Target. And really, to be honest, people are becoming more and more accustomed to just purchasing online or purchasing directly from kind of the platform. These numbers, in terms of what we see from a commerce standpoint, across games, movies, TV shows, is just going to continue to increase and really distance ourselves from some of these other kind of traditional brick and mortar retailers. So now we're going to get into some of the ad solutions and opportunities that exist for you guys. Before we get into it, I'm just going to show you a quick sales video here. It does a good job kind of summarizing sort of some of the different placements and opportunities that exist. So I'll play that. So as you can see with the video, I think what's interesting about PlayStation, and probably different than a lot of the other digital partners that you work with, is all of our ads are 100% native, right? Meaning they look and feel like content that lives on the platform. So what that means, one, from your standpoint, is we know in our performance metrics, they're very highly successful, right, in terms of engagement and having the users actually perform a task or action on behalf of your brand. Additionally, as you can see, 59% pay attention and interact with ads, but only 6% are put off or annoyed by the ads. I think that's a really key stat. Again, I think it's because it's one, something that's expected by our users, but the way it's integrated, it's not intrusive, invasive, or something that's frustrating for them to deal with. It's native to the experience. Whereas if you compare it to really video commercials digitally, which everyone is very much accustomed to nowadays, only 21% interact with the ads, but I think crazy is 34% are put off or annoyed by the ads, the traditional pre-roll, if you will. So as you can see, it's a very positive experience that the user has with advertising on the platform. So getting into some of the biggest units, and we have obviously a lot of what you'd call more traditional ROS type units, and we can send that to you as follow-up. But we wanted to highlight some of the biggest ad opportunities that exist within the ecosystem. The first would be the What's New screen. This is for PlayStation 4. So I don't know how many people of you have a PlayStation or have been on the PS3 or PS4. So if you haven't, when you turn on your PlayStation, you log in, the first page that you land on is the What's New page. And you can see a graph here. Essentially, it's the homepage, the landing screen, but it's also almost what you'd picture as a newsfeed, right? It's an opportunity for us to push out content from an editorial standpoint. And you can have a unit that lives within this content. Again, as you can see, this is all editorial. This is an ad. It's 100% native. It feels like the rest of the content. In terms of the ad opportunity, you can stream video, full-length video, full screen in the video viewer. You can push to a product page, or you can drive back, because we're connected, drive back to your URL or one of your brand landing pages. So from a PS4 standpoint, just to call out, this is not ad served, so we sell it on a flat fee sponsorship basis. So you can buy in blocks, a one-day essentially roadblock. From a PS3 standpoint, this is ad served. So we sell this on an impression CPM basis. We have the ability to target either by demo or geo market. So you can kind of see there. So that's it from a What's New. And then as you're kind of moving through the console and you navigate down, the first section that you would hit is the welcome section in the PlayStation Store. And this is, as you see, is the welcome roadblock. And we'll show you a video that demonstrates kind of the user experience. But it's essentially what it is. It's you come into the welcome screen. Think about this as really a high-impact homepage roadblock that you see on a traditional kind of digital page or digital publisher. And as you can see, this is for theatrical release. But I think the thing that's great about these is it's 100% owned by you, right? As you can see, they have the branding around the whole screen. Typically, the average PlayStation user is playing on a TV screen that's over 50 inches, right? So huge, beautiful screen, amazing branding, and then the opportunity to play really long-form video in length, and it's a great way to distribute video. We sell this on a weekly basis. It does a ton of impressions in a short period of time. Obviously, as traffic is almost filtering, has to filter through this page. Utilized a lot for tuning campaigns, new theatrical releases, new product launches. But also, I think if you have branded content you're looking for distribution, definitely another great place, a real estate for you. The branded storyline, again, so you can see this here, but this is really, the nav bar lives on the left side of the screen. So you're navigating through different sections. The branded storyline is a custom branded destination that we can create for you. And here's some mocks you can see that's for Air Jordan. But it features 3 different window panes. So the experience is you would go through the nav bar, click over into your branded section, and you can have different areas. As you can see, there's kind of different branding here for a new shoe release. A couple things why this is great is that, one, the navigation piece, right? So I worked at Turner prior. We always would have requests, especially on our sports sites, to create a branded custom environment, right? The problem with that is getting traffic to go to that section. A lot of times the only mechanism we had was co-branded promotional units and kind of display ads. The request we always got was, hey, can we integrate this organically into your navigation? Problem is, very much separation of church and state. Editorial really would never allow that. Whereas with PlayStation, not an issue. We weave you right into the natural navigation. We can put copy here that speaks to your brand. So the key is we know traffic goes there. We've been doing this a lot for non-endemics and have a lot of learning, especially in the last year, that roughly about kind of 1 in 4 people in their visits that come to the PlayStation Store end up going into the branded storyline. That's crazy traffic, right? You're talking about we have over 60 million users. So what we see is not only are they kind of programmed to go in the section, but also engage and interact with the advertising. So in the case of Jordan, they've done multiple executions. We did one with Chris Paul for his new shoe line, and they had content that featured not only about the product, but also kind of comedic content with Chris Paul and Blake Griffin. The first 2 days, it did over 3 million views. And the month execution, which is usually how we sell this, is they did 30 million video views in 1 month. That's crazy. And I think what we're seeing in a lot of the conversations I have is, look, again, if you're around a new product launch, it's really a no-brainer. But I also think because there is so much an abundance of sort of branded content and advertisers producing their own content, but the problem is there's not a lot of great places for distribution, sort of guaranteed eyeballs and video views. This is a great execution for that. So does anyone have any questions on that? Okay. And then getting into some of the new sponsorship opportunities, and I'm going to send you some follow-up. I want to call out one thing before we get into the PlayStation Live Viewer app. Is we're also doing a lot more from a content standpoint. So I know we've met before about Crackle and talking about our Crackle originals. Well, from a PlayStation standpoint, we're sort of following that same script. We had, for our first time this year, our first PlayStation original, Powers. It was based off a best-selling Marvel comic. Did extremely well. It was launched in Q2. We continue some information and video and stats on that. Additionally, we're going to be coming out with more content. We have conversations with creators. With Will Wheaton, essentially our host sitting down, roundtable conversation with game developers, game publishers, talking about the newest and latest games. We'll get you some of the stats on that, but performing very well. It's content that our users find compelling, that they're going to be drawn to, similar to how we execute on Crackle. There'll be opportunities for media sponsorship, kind of ownership, and integration, as well as, like I said, either ancillary content or actually physical brand or product integration into the content. We'll get you really a calendar and slate of what's going on for the rest of 2015 and into 2016 that we think could be a fit. Additionally, are opportunities like the PlayStation Live Viewer app. So we're utilizing this, whether it's for big events like E3 or gaming-specific kind of tentpole events, but also other entertainment events like, as you can see in some of the graphs here, UFC, boxing, music, concerts, things like this. So it could be subscription-based events, it could be non-subscription-based events. So there will be opportunities from an advertising standpoint around some of these tentpoles. Another thing that's interesting is if you have rights to live events. So I'm in conversations with a credit card company. They have a pretty popular music platform that has really top-level talent. The struggle for them is they typically push it out on their own operated sites. They have a partnership with another music publisher, and then we'll push this on their own YouTube channel. It does all right, right? But the ability to leverage something, one that's live through this, and that we can push out to our huge user base, that is a really good target for them. And then also some of the other execution we talk about, like the branded storyline, we could take sort of ancillary content or on demand and kind of push it out that way to promote the live viewer experience, is a good opportunity for them. So they get distribution on our platform really in exchange for paid media. And it's not a substantial commitment that they have to make to PlayStation. So that's that. And then we talked about PlayStation Vue. So this is our cloud-based live TV platform. Just launched in 5 markets currently. We'll be rolling out to all the top DMAs. Look at this as no different than your cable operator. We're doing deals with all the major TV networks. Right now, I think we have about 78 channels. By 2015, we'll have over 300 channels. I think it's really about, again, delivering kind of the benefits of a TV experience, but also the capabilities of a digital platform like PlayStation. It's providing you personalization, kind of more choice, more storage capabilities, things like this. And we can send you guys kind of a video demo that summarizes sort of what the user experience is like. But again, great opportunity, we think, from obviously evolving the platform from a user standpoint, But in terms of advertising, the TV networks will still sell the national loads, but we'll be responsible, our team, for all the local avails. So you still have local avails, which we could geo-target clearly, but also could have expansion across a national footprint. Additionally, it's 100% addressable, so we can leverage first-party reg data and be able to target these users by demo, guaranteeing you're reaching your audience. So exciting that you're able to target via live TV. And then really, in summary, we talked about kind of the PlayStation ecosystem. So clearly, our focus is still gaming. That's the primary way we position ourselves. It's the primary reason like users come to our platform. We're the #1 gaming console in the world. So we're clearly outperforming Xbox and Wii. But I think you're starting to see this huge shift in terms of the other capabilities and how it's utilized. And really, the console, as I talked about, 1994, it's probably a 10-year-old kid sitting in his room playing his PlayStation. This is in the living room right now. It's utilized by kids, by their parents, by the family as a whole. They're playing games. They're watching original content. They're watching live TV. They're experiencing big tentpole events. And all these things mixed with a combination of commerce really presents an awesome opportunity from an advertising standpoint. I think, to me, this is such an exciting platform. We're just scratching the surface of the capabilities from an advertising standpoint. And I think, the combination of all these will really kind of blow up in the near term in terms of advertising and marketing partnerships. So that's about it. If anyone has any questions, nope. Thank you for your time.